So this young man was found hanging from a tree yesterday. His name is Javion McGee, and he's from Chicago, Illinois.
Sometimes his arms were extended forward, and he had his left leg was over his right leg.
The Henderson, North Carolina Police Department is shaking, and if they think they're going to get away with this with no one saying anything, they're greatly mistaken.
He was shot. He thought he was drunk or something. They tried to wake him up. The guy was cutting grass, and he saw he won't move, so.
We have to warn you, some of the details might be hard to hear this afternoon.
Timid, look, wait. I got people trying to wish and pray that I'ma fall about it, all about it, till we spoke in person, don't wanna talk about it now, huh?
Rest in peace to Javion McGee. Prayers and condolences to his family. This young black male trucker was found unalived, hanging from a tree with a rope around his neck in Henderson, North Carolina. The details surrounding his passing are highly suspicious, and many are asking, what really happened to Javion? Do you believe this was foul play or something else? Why aren't we being told? Like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Police say he was discovered not far from his truck in the city of Henderson Wednesday, leaning against a tree with a rope around his neck. His family suspects foul play, but police say it wasn't a lynching. Initially, the family says the Vance County Sheriff's Office told them McGee died by suicide. But today, the sheriff's written statement doesn't list his death as a suicide and says they're now investigating his death. Javion's family wants the FBI to step in.
I just feel something in my bones that's not right, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Candace Matthews is speaking for McGee's mother and says the family wants transparency. His death captured attention this week when his cousin posted a TikTok accusing law enforcement of dragging their feet in the investigation. Family has traveled to North Carolina to press investigators for more information because police are saying McGee purchased the rope at a Walmart before he died. The family spokesperson saying the timeline isn't adding up.
This family deserves answers, and you are going to do your job because something happened between that Walmart distribution center and that young man being hung from a tree. There's an issue. Now, Javion, also the parents want to know, has had no history of mental health, has no criminal history. You know, Javion was a happy individual. In fact, he was happy to even have his CDL license that he just not that long got.
McGee's body is now with the medical examiner for an autopsy. The sheriff's office says they'll share the results with the family as soon as they come in. And before
this is an update, we wanted answers. It looks like a few answers have now been given in the case of a man who, according to his family, was hanging from a tree, Javion McGee. So put it up full mass. We got updates to share. So questions are still lingering over the death of Javion McGee after his body was found tied to a tree in rural North Carolina. In the week after his death, or since his death, authorities have released more details. His family is fiercely advocating for a thorough investigation. Authorities launched an investigation after locating his body in Henderson, North Carolina, Wednesday, September 11th. Follow the timeline. Vance County Sheriff Curtis Brain. Curtis, the sheriff, pushed back against rumors that McGee's death was the result of a lynching and told reporters that investigators found no signs of foul play. Quote, I understand there's over 1,000 hits on TikTok accusing the sheriff's office of not being transparent, not providing information to the family, and that is not true, Brain told reporters on September 13th. Quote, there's been information put out there that there's a lynching in Vance County. There is not a lynching in Vance County. The young man was not dangling from a tree. He was not swinging from a tree. The rope was wrapped around his neck. It was not a noose. There was not a tie in the rope. So therefore, it was not a lynching here in Vance County. Now, I want you to understand that the sheriff made multiple expressions of not a lynching, no lynching. But he did not make multiple proclamations about the fact, but there is still a man who's dead. There's a reason why the family doesn't trust the investigation, and I think their reason was justifiable. With millions watching and many people benefiting from this, we need 1% of the viewers to become a paid member so we can continue to bring this content to you. Now back to the show. On Monday, deputies released surveillance video. Okay. This happened Monday from a Walmart that Henderson was shopping at. It shows him purchasing a blue utility rope in the self-checkout line the day before his body was found. Some readers pointed out McGee seemed to have a positive demeanor while leaving the store with the rope in hand. Remember, he's a truck driver, okay? Authorities revealed on Wednesday that the rope found on McGee's body was the same rope he bought from the Walmart. The video did little to quell the family's concerns. The family is saying that specific video does not declare the fact that this was a suicide. The family still suspects foul play at this point right now, but they really just want answers, says family spokesperson Candace Matthews. And that's something that we said here at Indisputable. They want to know from that timeline, from him purchasing that rope all the way to the tree where he was hung. At a press conference on Wednesday, lawyers for the family added that they're still investigating whether McGee's death was the result of a hate crime, saying, quote, any suggestion it's a suicide would be grossly premature. The family has shared that McGee had no history of mental illness. We shared last time he had no issues with a criminal history or criminal underworld. Now, using surveillance footage and GPS data, investigation pieced together a timeline of McGee's movement. And this was Henderson, September 10th. He made his delivery at the distribution center just after noon that day. He left the center at 4:53 p.m. At 6:11 p.m., he was seen walking into the Walmart. That's on North Cooper Road, behind the rope. He was seen walking into his hotel room at 6:28 p.m., talking briefly with a hotel clerk, and leaving the hotel in his semi-truck at 6:34 p.m. Just before 7 p.m., surveillance video shows McGee pulling into a dirt lot on Vanco Mill Road, getting out of his truck. He was getting in and out of his truck. He was also seen walking toward the wood line of the lot with an object. He's seen getting out of the semi for the final time at 7:30 p.m., walking toward the woods. Surveillance footage doesn't show him returning back to the truck. A 911 call was placed after 10 a.m. the next morning after someone found his body not far from where his truck was parked. Dispatcher, Vance County 911, what's your emergency? Caller, I have some guys out here mowing the grass. I got a man who hung himself in a tree. Dispatcher, the guy hung himself in a tree? Caller, yeah, he looks dead. He still got a rope around his neck. Autopsy results revealing McGee's manner and cause of death have not yet been released. A toxicology report is also pending. Authorities say McGee had no defensive wounds or scars on his limbs, including arms and legs. And there were signs of hemorrhaging detected around McGee's neck. According to a 2024 study by the University of Georgia, researchers, Black men die at a rate 4 times more than Black women. The report also cited data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention that shows that the second leading cause among death among African Americans between ages 15 to 24. Now, those are statistical data sets. That data doesn't know that man. The family does. And when you look at the Walmart video, he seemed actually quite cheery. He seemed positive. Spoke to the clerk, had a good conversation. Nothing seemed off about him, according to those who witnessed him prior to. The family still wants answers, obviously. But I do find it ironic, compelling, and really unprofessional that the sheriff's office came out with a conclusive, no, it wasn't a lynching. No. The family said, wait a minute, you didn't even have time to investigate. That doesn't make sense to us. And then later they said, if anybody has information that could solve this crime, call the Crime Stoppers hotline. Wait a minute, you just said it wasn't a crime, though. This is why the family doesn't trust them, because they changed the story multiple times in front of them as they were getting their story together within the 48 hours before we got the story. All right, we still need conclusive answers. Jordan, this is a hell of a story, man. I mean, it obviously things don't seem to link up like you traditionally would see when somebody has a mental health issue and they're looking to unalive themselves. And then you have the sheriff's office completely negligent at best and malicious at worst. What say you?
I think what you said at the beginning is really important. You know, he's rushing out to say, this isn't a lynching. This isn't a lynching. There's no lynching here. What he lacked and what the department lacked was sensitivity around somebody who is not with us anymore. And within that, there's a callousness toward a family who is certainly grieving, and you can see that in their behavior, in TikTok, a cousin or a relative made. All they want is answers and transparency, and all you're doing is going out and trying to cover yourself. It's totally backward priorities. You're there to protect and serve. You're serving this family in this instance. So I totally agree. It should have been handled totally differently. The one thing I did read, the News and Observer in Raleigh had an interesting piece breaking down this timeline. And for me, you talk about his demeanor when he's leaving Walmart. On his way out, after he purchased that rope, he was also seen on a security camera giving someone who is experiencing homelessness $228. And investigators tracked that person down, other witnesses down, and he reportedly said, I don't know how much this is, but if I had more, I would give it to you. To me, I think that shows this is somebody who has made that decision, unfortunately, and that's a permanent decision to likely temporary problems. Whatever he was dealing with, I'm really sorry, and you can see the hurt in his family, but that point to me showed that this is somebody who is just, that's what his next steps were, and he just, on his way out, he just was going to help somebody out. And that's tragic, because you see there is goodness within this person, and it would be better for his family, for him, for everyone if he was still with us. It's a very tragic story all around.
And that kind of heart and soul, that is what the family knows of him. And that's why it doesn't add up to the family. But just think about this, Jordan. If the sheriff would have done what an investigative authority should do, wait until making a conclusive report. And when you do have your conclusion after investigation, present it to the family first. Don't hold a damn press conference after you have been negligent in the investigation toward the family. All right, bring updates.
Hey family, I just wanted to recap off of yesterday. Yesterday we was getting these stories misconstrued, and we still are. Even myself, the 21-year-old that's from Illinois. He's out of Illinois. He was found hung in North Carolina. That was May 7th, 2025. Okay, that was back in May. The young man that was on the video in North Carolina that was being harassed by those racist white men, I don't know his name. They're trying to say that that's Eric Darnell. But if you look at the story with Eric Darnell, that AI looking picture and everything, they're saying that he just walked away from his truck and was never found. So how can that be Eric Darnell, and yet you're saying that he was being harassed? Then there's he was being harassed by those racist white guys. That's not the same story. That's not the same person. Okay. Then there's a guy that was on yesterday. I'm not going to even give his name. And he's saying, oh, he spoke to Eric Darnell's family. And he was saying that Eric Darnell is the one that was being harassed by those racist white guys. It ain't adding up. It still ain't adding up. The only thing that I know for sure is that the 21-year-old that was hung, his name is Javion McGee. If y'all have anything else about the Eric Darnell and the guy that was being harassed that is not Eric Darnell, he never gave us his name, please tag me and let me know, because these stories is getting out of hand, truly. So holler at me and let me know something if y'all come up with something concrete, not no hearsay, no you say, and all these different TikToks. So let's see some family members that then came forward, because nobody has came forward with Eric Darnell. We just can't, I talked to his wife, or no, I don't want to hear that. That's a bunch of BS. And Eric Darnell and the guy that was being harassed by those white racist guys, I don't believe that is the same person. His name is not Eric Darnell. And people were saying Eric Darnell was the young man, the 21-year-old, and his name is Javion. These stories are being mixed up all type of ways, and we need to really get it together, because it's not fair to the families or the victims. So holler at me if y'all got something concrete. Peace.
Times his arms were extended forward, and he had his left leg was over his right foot. It is also stated that the North Carolina medical examiner again did state that there was no foul play, there were no bruises, there were no contusions, there were no defensive wounds whatsoever found in his body, in addition to the fact that his neck was broken. Now, as I told y'all before, with my 20 years of law and order experience, that the only way that a person can asphyxiate him or herself is through there being direct pressure involved. Now, again, I don't know how he was able to get this side around a branch. I don't know how that part took place. I'm sure it probably could have been thrown up there himself. What is kind of, driving me a little bit bonkers about all of this is the 11 times. That's a little bit much. But let me just, before I get into what I think of all this, let me just give you the continued facts. His father, after the 911 call came in and his body was discovered, what the North Carolina Sheriff's Department and Vance County, Sheriff Department did use in order to identify Javion's body is that blue rope. Next to his body was the wrapper that went around the rope, and they used that wrapper along with his keys, other items that were found next to his body, and again, remember I did tell you that his truck was not too far from him. They were able to use his identification as well as the payment information that were in his truck, match that with what was found with the wrapper, with the blue rope that was next to his body, to confirm that, conclude that the rope may have been purchased by him directly. And they also used that information to contact his father to let him know what had happened. Now, here's what I can also tell you, because several of you have asked if his family has the body. They do not. They have attorneys that are representing the body at this time. And I also want to make it clear that the North Carolina medical examiner has concluded their autopsy. They are also doing a toxicology report, which is why the body has not been released to the family yet. I also want to make it clear that the family has also let it be known that they wanted everything ruled out, simply because, of course,
He was shot. He thought he was drunk or something. They trying to wake him up. The guy was cutting grass. And he saw he won't move, so.
But he won't hang it from a tree.
No,
he won't hang it. He was just sitting.
Sitting on the ground. His body was sitting on the ground. He was leaning against the tree and his butt was touching the ground.
Laid up beside these two little trees right here. Now, if you see these trees, there's no possible way that somebody can hang themselves from these trees. Now, the guy told me that the body was sitting propped up with his butt on the ground and a rope tied around his neck.
My first time coming here, back here.
Okay.
But I do park up there right beside the flatbed right there when I come in on the weekend. I'm gonna be honest, man, I really don't know, but I can confirm one thing.
What's that?
Henderson is not a sundown town.
Okay. Have you?
I feel like it's racism. I feel like what they're saying right now is not even believable. I don't think I think racism is still out here, because I've had my mishappenings with Henderson. I done been called all kinds of N-words. I done even went to a white church that they told me that they don't help my kind. So I still think it's racism.
Wow. When was this?
This was recently. I reached out for help because me and my kids was going through something, and they told me they don't help our kind.
Get to the bottom of it and get justice for him and his family. Also, I feel whoever's a detective on his case, if they do their job, they will get to the bottom of it. It doesn't take somebody with a degree or a rocket scientist to know, okay, track that man's GPS in his truck, backtrack.
Okay.
What happened? That's all you got to do. Like, his GPS will tell you the whole story, and nowadays everybody got cameras. You're not going to tell me there's no cameras on that road. They can go pull somebody's camera right now.
So this young man was found hanging from a tree yesterday. His name is Javion McGee, and he's from Chicago, Illinois. This young man was a truck driver and had a promising future. I had a lot of people tagging me in this young lady's video. So
Carolina Police Department is shaking. And if they think they're going to get away with this with no one saying anything, they're greatly mistaken. This is 21-year-old Javion McGee. He's a truck driver from Chicago, and he was going to drop off a load, never to return. There's a lot to this story. Let's talk about it. Javion was traveling to Henderson, North Carolina for no other reason than to just do his route. He was found miles down the road, away from his truck, lynched, hanging in a tree. When his family asked the police department and the coroner's office what happened, they gave them the runaround. That's where his cousin, Stormy Knight, on TikTok, find her page, comes in. She came and told the story. This is my little cousin. He is a suburban kid. He went missing. They found him in a tree, and they're giving my aunt and the rest of the family the runaround. The coroner at first said, "Oh, you must gather all this information." The mother gathers it. Then they say, "You must gather information on Javion's father." They get information from the father. The father comes forward. Then they say, "Oh, well, ma'am, you just don't want to see your son like this." What do you mean? What do you mean I don't want to see my son like this? Not only give me my baby's body, give me my baby's body in the condition that you found it. Don't cremate him, anything sneaky like that. When asked by the police department, they have no answers except for Javion put himself in a tree. Now, anybody black in America, especially a young black man that knows anything about anything, is not about to lynch himself. That's just not going to happen. I don't care how y'all try to spin it. That wasn't in his garage. That wasn't a random tree in the deep south. So this is the area that he was found, Van Cone Mill Road, okay? In a rural area. So you see, if you really spread this mouth out, all this is trees leading to Martin's Creek. So you got a Walmart, Sam's Club. Then all the way out there, you got like an airbrush shop, but that's a whole another street away. All this is trees. You feel me? That whole line where that Van Cone Mill Road is, all that is trees. And that's where they found him. So there are other commentators on the case, and shout out to Prophet Ruben M on TikTok. He went out and he was hitting up everybody. He did some research, not only of just the family, but the area. He researched that the nearest truck stop in that area is Check's Truck World. Now, this was far enough away from the rural area, you know, checking to see the spots of where he may have picked up a rope to hang himself, where he was moving. Something's got to be caught on camera because the world is cameraed right now, especially at a truck stop. These are the rest of the truck stops in the area. I'm telling you, Prophet Ruben was on it. You got 85 Truck Plaza, you know, that whole thing. This is all off that road. Then you got the Walmart in the area. Pull up the Walmart of where he went to got the rope, because no need to leave Chicago and travel all the way to lynch yourself with a rope, because we know that didn't happen, okay? He's like, give me some evidence of this young man moving around like he did something to himself, and I bet you can't prove it because you guys know you did it, allegedly. This is the chief of police, Marcus Barrow. And Marcus Barrow was the one that's come out and said he did it to himself. He's looking like, I don't know nothing. Sorry to this man. This young man is from Chicago. People are having a lot of backlash saying that he was some sort of thug. What does being a thug got to do with lynching yourself, number one? Number two, his cousin said, nobody in their family is gangster, so let's just rule that out. Then number three, why would you go all the way to a Henderson, North Carolina and see? To me, even the name of that gives sundown, does it not? It could be a major city. It don't sound like South Carolina, Isles of the Palms to me. It don't sound like a place, Raleigh. Henderson, North Carolina sounds like somewhere I would have just driven right through. Don't stop, go, don't make $2,000, because I already know that my skin does not protect me from places like that. Now, This situation leads to a greater conversation, statements I have made before, and I will continue to reiterate on my platform. We are not free. Do not think for not one day, not 15 minutes, that you are a free Black American. You are not free. The trick of the entire thing is we've never been free. Surprise! Woo! Confetti! You never got free. We're not free. They're still lynching us. They're still holding us down, oppressing us. We're still slaves. Still get paid pennies to do hard labor. And I'm telling you right now, there's a few freemen, barely. And they're not going to pull up the people of the bootstraps of all of us. We are not free. We still need to move like it's 1876, and it's going to get worse. The more that we do not, in these generations, stick up for ourselves, but the way we're sticking up for ourselves now is we're getting these stories out there and we're making these places accountable with protests, with getting the word out, with continuously say their name. We're doing what we can, but I need the true knowledge to know that we're not free, and moving in that mindset to be so adamant in everybody's minds. That's what's going to make true change. We go, wait a minute, I'm not free. So what does that really mean for me? What does that mean for my future, my quality of life? Take what I'm saying, hold on to it. Prayers to Javion McGee. Devastation. That's why I had to show you his baby picture, because this giving you thug, because this giving me well taken care of. Okay? Devastating stuff. Nobody is safe.